and open.
Forget what they told you in Sunday school. God's not mad at you. You don't have to make America great again. And your spirituality doesn't have to look anything like theirs. Welcome to Evangelical-ish with Paul and Ashley. We're untangling and unlearning what harms, reclaiming what heals, and searching for a new kind of 21st century spirituality. We're untangling and
Okay, here we are. Whoops, got to turn down the sound on Instagram or YouTube, wherever that's coming out.
Great again.
This keeps happening to me. Okay, here we are. Whoops, got to turn down the sound on Instagram or YouTube. I don't know where that sound is coming from. Okay, there it is. All right. Nice. Good start. Good start.
The open that's so great, you want to hear it twice.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I love the song.
I do too. We're doing a copyright violation because it's so good.
Yeah. Just violate for like a quick second and then stop.
Yeah, that's us today.
Okay, I have a question. When was that song really popular? Like 80s?
It's a 90s song, isn't it?
Is it a 90s song? Well,
so
I was hoping you would say 80s because if you haven't noticed, I have like a flock of seagulls kind of hair situation this morning. And so I was going to say, it's not because I just rolled out of bed. It's only because I'm celebrating the 80s today with Shiny Happy People theme.
Okay. I want to hear from our live stream audience, by the way, how I sound, because I know you were saying I sounded strange today. But let's see. It is Shiny Happy People, 1991. So
okay,
still 80s, still 80s influenced for sure.
We can have a holdover from the 80s, but you and I have the same hair today. If you hadn't noticed,
well,
we are twins. And I went to a masquerade ball last night.
Yes, you did.
And so I went like big, ginormous 80s hair to just like try to masquerade myself a bit. And yeah, it's still happening this morning.
And big, ginormous 80s makeup. And
oh, I went all in. And then, but I didn't have anything to wear. I didn't know what I was going to wear. So I just went to the closet and I'm like, what's in here? And I found my daughter's old choir dress.
Okay.
So I put that on.
Yeah. It was a winner. If they had a contest, you had a shot.
Oh my gosh.
And you took your little masquerade mask.
I did. It was fun. It was really fun. Hey, good morning to Richard Stark is joining us live. So is Doug on the left, woot woot, and Art Patterson. Hey, Ashley and Pastor Paul. Good morning, Art. Yeah, let us know if you're here, if you're alive, if you're awake and you're listening live. Give us a little what's up in the chat so we can say hey to you as well. And it's Sunday. It's evangelical-ish Sunday. I was thinking, this morning.
That could be our new theme song right there.
Oh, let's do that. Okay. I was thinking this morning that for however many years, quite literally 48, 49 years of my life, every Sunday morning was get up and go to church. And then COVID hit and it was like, oh my gosh, it's kind of nice to not get up and go to church. And then here we are doing this is kind of our spiritual practice is to like talk to each other in podcasts on Sunday mornings. And I was like, how do I feel about now having another Sunday obligation? And I thought, oh, I'd much rather do this than have to go to church and sit there for 4 hours and do all of the Sunday things.
This is not going to church on Sunday morning.
Yeah, it's a much lower.
Our church, but it's not like what we did for 50 some odd years of my life. So yeah, we have River Hugger with us today. Dawn is here today. Oh, we've got a great group joining us, ready to go.
Yes, awesome.
Yeah, and we are Shiny Happy People today, drinking from my 1946 the movie mug.
Yeah, I'm going to play that song all day and just commemorate the show this morning. I'm drinking from the Honeymoon Cafe cup or mug that I got at Pismo Beach. So this is a favorite of our family is going to Pismo Beach in Central California, and there's a
Uh,
cute little local coffee store there. And this is one of my favorite mugs.
my favorite coffee store there shut down. I can't remember what it was called.
It was Central Roast was what it was called.
Central Roast.
Yeah,
Oh, I loved
yeah.
Central
That
Roast.
was fun.
Yeah.
That was fun.
I'd love to be in Pismo today, as a matter of fact. That would be
Mm.
nice.
Well, you know
And
what?
having an Old West cinnamon roll. Yeah.
That would be nice. But I'll tell you that the weather's real nice here in Fresno today. I took the trash out
Finally.
this morning and it was a little chilly. I
Oh,
was like, I gotta put a coat on.
nice.
Yeah, so we decided after last week's podcast for us, if you haven't listened to it yet, I would strongly encourage you to go check it out on our YouTube channel.
Just to
Um,
interject, I would say we probably haven't had this much response to a podcast yet in our
yeah,
life.
in our
Uh,
wee little podcasting career.
yeah, a lot of people found it to be, I don't know, what, raw, fresh, but a lot of response to it, and people saying, "Wow, you guys are living this out publicly and in such a raw, beautiful way that it's meaningful to people." So yeah, if you haven't heard last week's podcast yet, it is available on your favorite podcast app or on YouTube after we go live today.
Yeah.
Find some time to listen to it.
By the way, Richard is letting us know it's 42 degrees in southern Minnesota this
Oh,
morning. 42 degrees. That would be like the height of winter for Central California. River Hugger says last Sunday was painful.
we give River
Um,
Hugger a lot of pain. Like we put her through a
I'm
lot of pain on this
sorry.
show.
Hopefully it's like a hurt so good situation. Like when I go to my physical therapist, which I'm still in treatment for that weird, went to the hospital for 2 nights and 3 days about a month ago. And that dude, my God almighty, like I'm sore for like 3 days. I can barely walk.
So
So
you're saying
hopefully
we're River Hugger's Swedish
physical
masseuse.
therapist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh Lord, I can still feel it today. I went on Thursday, but it hurts so good. Yeah. So last week was, I don't think it was painful for you and I too much. Like, do you know what
It's
I mean?
kind of
Like, I
what we
think,
do. Yeah, it's
yeah,
that's our thing, is like
it's,
having really raw, honest conversation.
yeah, it's cathartic and therapeutic. And because I feel like we work our way through into, um, okay, I'm going to use an expression that isn't going to make sense until I explain it real quickly. It's like the water runs clear, and here's what I mean by that. Um, Anybody living in Fresno in 2015, 2016 will remember there was a part of our town where all of a sudden people were having like dark water come out of their faucets, and
Yeah.
everyone was afraid that it was going to be like we were Flint, Michigan. Did all the research, et cetera, and found out that this particular subdivision was built with inexpensive, like Korean pipe in the 90s that was prone to rusting or something like that. So, our utilities director would always say this: when you turn on a tap that you haven't used in a while, just let the water run until the water runs clear and then it's safe. And so, I use that expression to say, like, just keep pouring, keep like let it run until it runs clear, and that means you've worked it all through. So I think for you and me, like, we on a Sunday morning episode of Ish, with by the end of the hour the water's running clear. So that's why for us it's not painful, right?
Yeah, that's a good analogy. And that analogy makes me think of how everybody's always like, the government can't do anything right or good up until a moment like that. And then they're like, why hasn't the government regulated this?
Oh man, that was rough. In fact, the government does regulate, and this developer like didn't obey the rules or whatever. I mean, at the
I
end of the
mean,
day,
the profit motive didn't protect
yeah,
people.
exactly,
Oh, shocker.
exactly.
Shocker.
But there was a family that alleged that their mother passed because of this water situation and threatened to exhume the body to prove it. It was like really brutal.
Ugh.
Anyway, okay, a little off topic, but so last week was experienced by many as raw, maybe painful for us. Yes. And also we, worked it through to the water runs clear and like we feel lighter when we're finished talking to each other. We thought today everyone might need a little bit of a break from our intense drama with
Okay.
each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we're going shiny, happy people this morning.
Which is not necessarily an upbeat topic.
Well, because yes, it depends on your perspective, but
Because season 2 of Shiny Happy People
yeah.
was just out, and we just finished watching it, and our good friend April Ajoy was in it. And I talked to her last week, and she said it really did trigger a whole lot of things. And I think it was interesting for us. It kind of was a season of Christianity that we missed a little bit, that we were a little bit pulled away from in another stream, but very similar to many things that we've lived. And one of the things April used to say a lot is if somehow if deconstruction hadn't happened for her, she would have been in Washington D.C. on January 6th, storming the Capitol. Like that was where she was. So I don't think I ever would have been a January 6er, but there is an alternate parallel world where I could be a Christian nationalist, and you and I really were parallel to it coming to be through the Seven Mountains ministry, which we were, drawn to, but not ever drawn to like, let's take over the mountains. But watching Shiny Happy People, it's like, oh my gosh, we were there. We could have been one of these people.
It is such a interesting dynamic to reflect on because as we've shared a lot on this channel, we're like the Where's Waldo of this of one aspect of this evangelical political movement, like kind of like always in the picture, like with our little goofy looks on our faces, but so like narrowly missing like fully being thrown into all that stuff, but around it a lot. And so we can talk about that. I want to just make sure people know, if you're wondering what we're talking about, there's a show on, is it Prime? Shiny Happy People?
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's
so.
Prime.
One
So
of the streaming platforms.
yeah, they have 2 seasons out. Season 2 just dropped, I think not long ago, or we at least just watched it. There's like 3 episodes.
Yeah.
The first season was about the Dugan family.
The Duggars.
And Duggars, sorry,
Yeah.
Duggars. And
that
I forget
strange, weird strand
like
of
FCBI or whatever.
Yeah,
like,
whatever that is.
and
Again, we
so-
kind of were adjacent to that rather than in it, but
Yep. And then the second season is about this
Acquire the
phenomenon.
Fire.
Teen Mania
Yeah.
was the name of this Christian militant. At one time they reported on this show the largest Christian youth organization in the U.S. So it seems like it was kind of in the 90s, right? Wasn't that it was like
yeah.
a George W. like a Bill Clinton, George W. sort of like 90s 2000s era. And anyway, so that's what the show is about, and that's what we're talking about.
And they kept, and we can certainly relate. They kept, we're taking this generation for God and raising up a generation of warriors who are going to take the nation back. We've definitely heard that language a lot.
My entire life, right?
Yeah.
So I clock the decades with like the width of the ties. So the dudes were wearing ties like this wide, that kind of go out like that. And then they're wearing like the pleated sort of baggy pants and very like feathered, not mullet, like post mullet era hair. So that tells you what like generation it was.
Well, because the 80s were skinny ties, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it was like kind of after that when we went to the wide ties and the like, we're still doing the feather, but we taken up the back on the mullet.
And oh my God, side road, do you remember the sock tie?
Yeah.
You don't seem like you really remember. The sock tie was
I do remember the sock
phenomenon.
tie.
Yeah, that was something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, they had their cute moments. So yeah, and the name of the documentary is Shiny Happy People. because it's all about how, oh, this saved me and gave me purpose, and they're talking to all these survivors of this ministry, and then you see like they kind of decided to literally like raise up an army and making them like do hours and hours of really hard physical activity in the mud and rolling through other people's vomit, and it's just, Christians, you're nuts. Like, it's just, like you're just shiny, nutty people,
Hmm.
and that idea of and I always heard it as hyperbole. We're raising up a generation of warriors, and then we're here today, and you're like, oh wait, they weren't. That wasn't hyperbole to them.
Right. Because fast forward, to April's point, like I'm guessing a good number of the folks on January 6th at the insurrection were either directly influenced by or participants in, like roll it forward another 15, 20 years and there's where we are.
And probably like the financial supporters of Charlie Kirk, who was in our area this past week, much to the chagrin of many and the joy of others, were probably, raised in this type of environment and who are now using their adult financial abilities to continue the fight to take America back for God. But it was, these events were bombs and explosions and Humvees, and it is very war based. The language, it is very adversarial to the world, which means the society that is not explicitly their brand of Christianity.
Yeah.
And and as we now know, like a very authoritarian, top down, let's find a leader and go after them so they can give us purpose. And the purpose is, let's take over the country and make it Christian as they define Christian.
Yeah. I mean,
How did you feel watching it? I mean, I know that
well,
it wasn't directly our thing, but I don't know. What did you feel while you were watching?
so a couple of things. One, you and I both remarked a lot on how is it that we missed this massive, activity, whatever. We were never in a church that sent kids to Teen Mania or Acquire the Fire, but it's exactly the kind of thing that we were around all the time. So we were both just like, wait, what? This happened? But it was this massive movement, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of kids going to these stadium events and, all this kind of stuff. And then that stream was like huge part of the 90s kind of Christian coalition stuff that started to happen. And so we were seeing all that, but I guess this one act, the sort of the head of this, he would be like a speaker at these,
Ron something.
yeah, I forget. Anyway, but so that was one, is like, oh my God, this was going on and we didn't know about it. Like that was kind of a surprise. One, two, it really struck me how aggressive and intentional you have to be to turn Jesus into this military figure for this kind of propaganda to hold together.
Yeah.
Like that. I was driving the other day and it just was kind of like, it occurred to me like, oh my God, you really have to, no wonder all the images of like Jesus with the bulging biceps and the Rambo Jesus and the, AK-47 Jesus, like all those images that are now just like out all the time. It used to be like a little bit murky and now it's just like
next to the Rambo Trump and the muscle.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of
Trump.
the same, and
they are the same character in many people.
right.
Yeah.
So you have to work really hard to make the case that like Jesus wants you to be this way, act, so that stood out to me a lot, because when I don't know, I've said this a number of times, and like the way I see it, democracy democracy is very much in alignment with what I grew up understanding, sort of Christian values and Christian, the love of God to be like it is underpinning democracy to have such a high value for human beings that you choose to live in sacrifice and support with other people. Like like I feel like that is what democracy depends on, is you have to have value for other human beings. And I learned to have value for other human beings based on what I thought was like the Jesus way. And so if you take that and you turn it into, no, Jesus wants you to hate people, and Jesus wants you to kill people who don't have your ideology, and Jesus wants you to go to war. Like it is so anti what I understood the life of Christ to be and to be about.
Yeah. It is democracy is about taking care of the smallest minority that can be cared for. Like oligarchy, monarchy are all about who's important, who's wealthy. Those are the people we care about. Democracy says, no, no. The First Amendment protects the least popular opinion and says that opinion gets to be voiced in public. You get to burn the American flag. You get to say the president is an idiot, no matter who the president is. That's, to me, that's the whole point of democracy, is saying everybody's valuable. Everybody's voice needs to be heard, because if we shut down one group of people's voice, then anybody's voice can be shut down. And yeah, so that the least of these, right? Care for the outcast, seek justice for the poor. That's the nonstop message of the Bible. And literally these religious guys, the Sadducees running around, they're constantly trying to draw Jesus into this conflict so they can marginalize him. Even the divorce argument of Matthew 19, I think it is, they're trying to get Jesus to pick a side on one of the most contentious culture war issues of the day so they can polarize him on one side or the other against his followers. And he's like, no, you guys, the whole premise of the question is wrong, is what he's not saying. Marriage is one man, one woman. All gay people need to be thrown in jail. He's saying your argument is really a bad argument to begin with. You're both wrong because you're coming from a place of trying to pit people against each other. And so his message is the complete opposite of what you're talking about democracy to be.
Yeah. So I think
if you were to say to Jesus today, are you, conservative or liberal? He would say none of the above.
Yeah,
Or he would
totally.
just say, yes, yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm what people, need me to be for transformation in their life.
Yeah. So it was really the show was I don't know, it just kind of took my breath away again to see. And again, it was like we're looking back on like what 20 years ago this was being fomented and like, sort of baked into another generation of like a youth religious movement. I had no idea. It is shocking and startling. And then also like, of course, it makes perfect sense because look where we are now. So I was having kind of all those thoughts and feelings, but I want to also point out there's sort of the main guests or people that sort of talk you through the show, the narrators. They were brother, sister, and they were super active in this movement. And their dad was a very famous like Christian rock singer.
Ray
Last
Bowles.
name Bowles. Yeah, Ray Bowles.
Well, I would say he
And
was a Christian pop singer. He was a
pop.
K-Love kind of
Okay,
guy.
okay.
Yeah,
And what was the song that like the really popular song?
I can't
Oh,
remember.
thank you
Few
for
forgiven to
giving
the
to the
Lord.
Lord. Everybody, I'm so glad that something something.
Our audience has
Um,
gone quiet. We must be boring them
I
here at
know,
the
I know,
live
I
stream.
know. We're
Like, did you all experience this at all? But yes, thank you for giving to the Lord. Oh, and
so
his hair was just awful, as was Ron Luce, the guy,
Ron Luce.
who led
Yeah.
the Teen Mania
Yeah.
Acquire the Fire thing.
So, anyway, like just his personal story is a part of the show, and he comes out, like he is gay, and um I don't know, after decades of being this Christian pop singer, star, etc., family, all in ministry. And then he's just like, I can't live a lie anymore. I'm gay. The family heals through that, is a unit. Like they have this really beautiful story of love and, being in unity and supporting their dad and his husband and like all this kind of stuff. So it's like, it's a pretty amazing thing to think about in the middle of, like, that guy was a superstar and very visible in the teen mania movement, and then himself is gay. So there you go.
I mean, I found this in my own life in many ways, and in the lives of many other, I would say maybe Gen X or Gen X adjacent males, that, I always knew there was something horrible about me, but I was never allowed to feel it or explore it. It was just had to be put away, couldn't be talked about. Um, and for Ray Bowles, he said he went to, ex-gay camps and things like that to try to get it out of him, God, get this
Yeah.
horrible thing out of, and is now married to a man, and the family seems like they've really come to a place of peace that maybe they didn't have before. And yeah, so that was an interesting stream within the story for sure.
Yeah.
For me, it was like, again, like, James Dobson shows up in this, and he's a big supporter because we want the kids, we've got to get this generation, and Jerry Falwell Sr. and all that, they're all, and I just want to, I want to be able to one day kick these guys right in the nuts as hard as I can, because they have done so much damage
Yeah.
to our society, to human beings within it. It makes me super, super angry.
Yeah. Would you say that's how you felt watching the show? Was you felt a lot of anger?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It- there's a podcast I like where they do shows every week called This Fucking Guy, and they talk about
Oh, yeah, I
horrible
love that
people.
one. I love that one.
And so I just watching it going, these fucking guys, and it's always
Oh,
men, almost always men, and I just like, fuck these guys. It
fuck
just,
these. Well, it has to be men because our
fuck these
podcast is
fuckers.
called These Fucking Guys.
Although they did Nancy Mace this week. So
Ah,
Nancy
okay.
Mace was the fucking guy this week.
I have to watch. We should invite those ladies on our show.
Yeah, they're pretty
They're
big
pretty
time.
big
I don't know
time.
if
I
we'd get 'em.
know it's a reach, it's a stretch, but maybe if we all marshal our forces and petition these ladies to join us for an hour on Ish, that could be fun.
Gosh, it feels weird that our feed just stopped.
I know. Somebody give us a shout in the
Somebody say
live, just
something
to,
in the live stream to let us know we're still
yeah,
going out there, because it feels like everything just died all of a sudden. It seems like it happens regularly in the show, but oh well. Yeah, so that was, it makes me viscerally angry now, because I think what I feel is like, this whole time of going through this stuff, you and I had such a vision and a passion to see the Spirit of God, a move of God,
right, transform
the
play.
breaking of the
Yes.
dam to transform our culture. And all of this time, I'm like, what there's something fucking wrong in the mix here. What is
Yeah.
going on? There's something's off. And it was these fucking guys, like our goal of seeing people being transformed and positively impacted through that transformation, not just converted to a religion, with such a passion. And now, we know that everybody we were running with was like, oh, no, we don't care about that. that immigrant. We don't care about that foreigner. We don't care about that poor person. We want power so that
Right.
we can
Right.
take over
That's it.
the
That's it.
society and impose our religion on the country, because that's what Jesus wants us to do.
Yep.
It makes me so fucking angry to know that
Yeah.
and I felt like I was the turd in the punch bowl. I'm the one who's always like, wait a second. I was always the RCA dog going, wait, what? We're supposed to hate President Obama? What? That doesn't seem like Jesus.
No, I
And
know.
now I look back and like, oh,
Ugh.
this is why it felt like shit, because it was
Yeah.
shit. These were shitty people.
Yeah.
Many of them trying to do good things, but caught in a shitty principality that had us
Yeah.
doing shitty things.
I have a question
Yeah.
for you. Do you ever get tired of like thinking about this and talking about that? Like, do you know, like, we've been talking about this and pointing at it and shining light, and I don't mean we as in you and me, but like people, this is becoming more evident and more transparent, and people are writing books, and there's a number of like folks like us that are talking about it all the time. Like what do we do next? I mean, are you tired of just feeling exasperated about it, or no?
I I mean, I feel like we've had this conversation a lot, but to me, it still feels like a calling. So when I was in radio, I would work with these younger people, and I always had to teach them, like, no, you have to say things over and over and over and
Yeah,
over and
that's
over and
true.
over. And when you're sitting in the radio studio, you're like, my God, I'm so sick of talking
Yeah.
about this. And you're like, our audience is driving to work, they're getting their hair done, they're taking their shower, they're not hearing
Yeah.
everything that's being said every second. So you have to keep banging the skillet again and again and again. And so I feel like I'll be tired of it when it's taken root and I don't have people sending me messages on Facebook saying, yeah, isn't it great that Donald Trump is sending troops to Chicago today? Praise God. Praise
Jesus
God that
fucking
Donald Trump
Christ.
is invading cities in America. When that stops, I'll be tired of it and I'll stop
Oh my
talking about it.
God. Jeez Louise.
And it's our fucking friends, like
Yeah.
who were like, we're constitutionalist and we're, all of these things. And it's like, we're revved up against pedophilia. And now it's like, Epstein, it's all a hoax. And the victims come out this week, and it's Christians like Nancy Mace, who are, well, Donald Trump is still the hero here. Donald Trump is, it's when all of that stuff ends, I'll be tired of it and I'll stop
Yeah.
talking about it. And
You know what would be fun is to find an historian who could point to a similar time in history, like American history, or like maybe I don't know, some like just our country has such an interesting and intense relationship with religion, right? And
yeah,
like, um, I'm certainly no historian, but there is a lot of people in my world talk about how our founders were stoics, why they were so intent on a nation not imposing a religion on people and religious freedom and all of these things. Like, fast forward, some hundreds of years, just there's been this tension has been around forever and ever. And I just wonder how like if you could parallel with things from the past that would kind of shine the way or light the way as to like how we keep working it through and getting hopefully to the other side. I don't know if that could be done, but that would be very interesting to me.
yeah. Well, we do have Dan McClellan on next week, and he
Yes.
has some grasp on this. I don't know if we'd want to play it today if we have time, but he did a response to Kirk Cameron on YouTube this week that is super fascinating. And
Oh
again,
gosh.
Kirk Cameron's another one where I'm just like, God, I wish I would have never watched Growing Pains.
Oh man, I had
Makes
such
me
a crush.
so
Such a crush.
he was so
Like,
cool. I think he was just
yeah.
so cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that is I do get your point. We can rage or we can think about what comes next, but it's kind of like, okay, there still is a light to be shown. And
Mhm.
obviously documentaries like Shiny Happy People are very, very popular. Um, and in some ways we're still in the same framework. I think part of the Trump Project 2025 Christian nationalist idea is let's get people worn out and just, I think what's happening in LA and Washington, DC, and going to happen apparently in Chicago this week is the Stephen Miller type people of the world want us to get frog in the pot, you know, used to having tanks and soldiers with guns in the street so that it'll just become a regular part of our life and be used, then can be used however they need it to when tanks are in blue cities. And when I say used when needed, I assume that'll be sometime around midterm election time next year to do something to either discourage people from going out to vote or something or just creating chaos and creating incidents so they can stop the election somehow or something. And so it's just hard not to say, hey, we have to keep being vigilant on what's happening here because
It's
our
sickening.
friends were groomed by these acquire the fire
Yeah.
in times left behind type stuff to now be accepting of like, yes, love everyone except for those people who disagree with us, who are in the way of God's movement to make America great again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then we can do whatever we want to them.
So we did sort of promote this episode of
Yeah.
Ish as Shiny Happy People reflection on the show and not, but also I and Shiny Happy People like
Oh, did you show
let
that one already? Yeah.
I
Okay.
did. Um Also, like having some reflections on like what were some shiny happy moments from the week because we
Yeah.
just felt like last week was kind of heavy and so anyway, we were both in the mood for like let's talk
Yeah.
about some nonsense, fun, joyous moments from the week. So are we ready to flip the
Yeah.
script? Okay.
And if I could do a little palate cleanser real quick, I'm hoping that I'm driving to Sacramento today, which is about what, a 3-hour drive up the highway. And yes, in California, we do call the highways the. So I would be driving up the
The
99
99.
today. We drive up the 5, or we go down to LA and we drive the 405. Yes, we
Yeah.
do. If you've seen the Saturday Night Live skit. But yeah, I'm hoping to go see Derek Webb. Again, if you're a 90s Christian kid, you may remember Caedmon's Call, another one of those K-Love bands. And this is Derek. And he wrote an album called Survival Songs, which is a tribute to someone who's come out in his own life. And this is his song. I'm just going to play a little bit of it to be our palate cleanser. And I'm hoping to see him and Flamey Grant, if you know who Flamey Grant is, a wonderful drag queen, former Christian singer who now does concerts. And this is a song by Derek about his child being handed a note by a barista at a coffee shop that may have saved his child's life. But just here's a quick piece of it again as our palate cleanser from Christian nationalism today.
I could not have imagined I couldn't wake up with the sun. These days I'm taking coffee or long for my friends on the east side. Waking up.
Okay, I'm going to forward just a little bit.
Try and say who I I had to cut myself free. Thank God a friend knew just what to say to me. Oh, I was meant to. It won't be this way forever.
Yeah, so that's Derek Webb, and I'm hoping to go see him in Sacramento. But I love that song.
Mhm. So sweet.
It's about the note put in the coffee said, I saw the marks on your arm, and I want you to know that I was there too. And it won't, the way it is today, it won't be that way forever. Maybe this is our message to those of us who are still in pain from these types of Christianity, that it won't be this way
Yeah.
forever, you know?
Yeah. So precious. Somebody wrote that on a Starbucks cup,
Yeah.
right? And handed it to this loved one. And
They saw the cutting marks on the arm and said, you know, this may be a risk of me, but I just want you to know I've been there. I totally get it. And I promise it's not going to be this way forever. And it was life-saving for a child.
oof. Wow.
Yeah.
Sweet. So sweet. So grateful. So we can find Derek Webb's music. Tell folks where you can go and listen to that
You can
song.
on Spotify. It's called Survival Songs is
Mhm.
the album, and a lot of beautiful songs like that. And Derek is wonderful. I'm so hoping I get to go drive up and meet him today, but I guess he was a little under the weather. They had a show in Redlands in Southern California 2 days ago, San Francisco last night, and I
Mm.
was planning to run up to Sacramento to see him today. So I hope it works out. But that's, yeah, go listen to him and Flamey Grant on Spotify or YouTube or wherever you get your music.
All right. So let's test out this. Let's test something out here.
Okay.
I asked you about this yesterday. I've had a minute to think about it.
Okay.
My theory is that we should be paying attention more to these little sort of like points of joy or light that just sometimes you're just like heads down doing your day, doing your next thing, and like something will just streak across your consciousness of joy. And it's just a little bright light. And so I'm curious, and I don't mean like big substantive, like I had a big party, and although there could be, I mean the little moments of joy that you experienced this last week. If you can think about those and share a joy point.
Okay. And you, but were you not like focusing that around how we add songs to our Spotify list?
Well, that could be one of your
Okay, I thought that was
joy points.
the focus of our joy.
It could be like, well, that's a whole nother like what crazy ass songs have we added to our playlist this last week that we are
I like that
obsessed
topic.
with. I love
Yeah.
that topic, but I so let's finish on that. But I want to like just like practice noticing these moments of joy.
Okay.
And then we can have fun with our playlist because I've got some hilarious songs that I put on our
Okay.
playlist that we've been listening to all week.
Well,
Okay.
I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I know what one of yours is this week.
Say it. Yeah.
Our backyard renovation. You just are nonstop like, oh my God, our backyard is so beautiful. So
Yeah. Making
Yeah.
our physical place look better and like spiffing it up. Yeah, that's been really joyous. So like we're like the last people in suburban America to get market lights in their backyard. But anyway, we had them put up around our fence perimeter, and we have them set to come on at 5 in the morning, 5 to 8 in the morning, and then they come on at 5 at night to midnight. And so like walk downstairs to get your coffee, the lights are on. It's so cool. And then come home from work, the
and
lights
by
are
the way,
on.
by lights, we are in the flight path of our airport.
I
And
know.
they're going to call us one of these days and like say, turn down the freaking lights. Good
I
God.
think so. I think the FAA is gonna fine us for like lighting up our house so much.
Yeah.
And I was sitting on the couch, like I think it was Monday, it was Labor Day, and I had put off all my weekend work, and so I'm like, all right, I got to sit here and get this done before going to the office tomorrow. And so I'm thinking to myself, if I know when I'm sitting on the couch doing my work, if I'm here and the lights go off, I have been up too late. And so I'm sitting there doing my email. Sure enough, the lights go off and I think, it's midnight. I probably have been working too long. But anyway, yeah. So that's definitely a point of light, literally.
Yeah. Yeah.
mm,
River Hugger talking in the live stream here about a puppy being in the office. Ours is there. You can't
where
get it.
is he? There he is.
You see it?
Little
Yeah.
black blob.
That looks like a
Um,
raccoon. For me, like, what was the point of happiness this week? I can see clothing over my shoulder here. I just am in a space in life where I just talk to my system and like, okay, what do we want to wear today? And so I think Friday I had an outfit on that just made us very happy and like, oh, we get to wear this. Uh and I know sometimes you think it's a little weird, but I'm just allowing our system to dress the way we need to be happy. And then and we got our nails done on
yeah,
Friday, which I love. So that was definitely a moment of happiness. And I
yeah.
not only love getting my nails done, but love my nail. I don't know what to call her, but
Person, your manicurist.
nail person is just so
Yeah.
wonderful. I just love it.
So that human connection.
It's an
Yeah.
amazing thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Paul and I have had a lot of conversations about like wardrobe, and you say this a lot, and I'm finally getting it maybe a little bit, but because I'm like, okay, if that's the look you're going for, how about try it this way? How about try it that way? And you're like, no, I'm not dressing for anybody else. I'm dressing for what's going on in here.
Yep.
Um, so that's
I
a
I
struggle for me. That's a
Yeah, that's
struggle.
hard for you. That is
Yeah.
really hard
Yeah.
for you.
Because I like the design. I like how everything comes, I like anyway, but
And I guess I do too. And the thing is, like, I hardly ever cared about what I wore before because I only got to wear like shitty clothes. But yeah, I really don't care if people like my outfit or not, as long
mhm,
as somebody in here is like, oh, I feel so good that I get to wear
yeah.
this today. I love that. So yeah, that's
Um,
an important thing.
okay. I'm gonna talk about two more quick, just like it, I'm telling you, it's just like light shining down, quick little blips of joy, and then let's talk about our playlist for the week. So one, I was meeting two people who I work with, who I would say I know personally a little bit, but we also work together. And I was meeting them at a local coffee shop, and I'm not kidding you. I walked around the corner. They were sitting on a couch talking to each other, and this jolt of joy went through me, like seeing them and seeing them talking with each other. And like, I was just like, oh my gosh, just like instantly drawn in and so happy to just be around them. So there was something very powerful about that moment for me. And then yesterday, this is what I thought you were going to say. We sat on the couch together. Our daughter was having a medical issue, and she's, thousands of miles away in New Jersey. I'm a little bit worried about her. And you and I just said, you know what? Let's just sit here for like a minute and send her all the love and healing
Mhm.
energy we possibly can. And that would be like our form of prayer. Like, so we just did that together for like a minute. And I felt this again, this like sort of current of love hit me that like it brought me to tears. And it was just like a really cool moment.
Mm. Love that. And I actually then have another one that I thought you were going to mention. Over Labor Day weekend, we were able to have two of our close friends, two guys, married guys, that we love to hang out with and help design our backyard. And two of our other favorite people in the local area, our son and our soon to be daughter-in-law, and they all came over, and we grilled up some steaks, and you cooked up a bunch of food, and we ate together. And it was just wonderful to have those two worlds coagulate together in our ever burgeoning, more beautiful home. And then, I don't know if I'm allowed to say, but our future daughter-in-law got a job with one of our friends this week. And it is amazing, as parents of adult children, how wonderful that we're seeing our kids' lives come together with jobs, finishing up education, finding their love, finding their joy and path. And
Oh yeah.
that makes our life so much better. And I have
Oof.
such empathy for people who have adult children who are in a life struggle, because it's life is joyful to know, oh, our kids are
Yeah.
okay, they're doing great.
Well, and also like life is a struggle. So our like we know like our like we all walk through really challenging times, and so there it's not that our expectation is that everything's always going to be fine or anything like that. But yeah, I did not expect this part of parenting to be as absolutely off the charts amazing as it is, because we're kind of culture oriented towards like babies and little ones and school age and when they're under the roof, and you're just like, this is the best thing and having kids is so great. That's all true, but I'm telling you what, I had no idea that when they leave your roof and they go to their own space and they start being their own humans, it is the most exciting, joy-filled thing to just watch them, to be around them, to like, oh, I could just like put my kids on video camera, watch them all day and be happy.
And I don't know if they would like that much.
That would be super creepy. Yeah. I
but
mean, I'm trying to rein it in and not act weird about it, but I
yeah,
do love being around them as young adults.
yeah, very much. That is wonderful. And I had something to say about that, and now it totally went away. So I'm learning to just, okay, it went away. It's all right. I'm not going to try to strain to get it back. It'll come back around. I had a week where the TV story came out about me and my journey, our podcast. So, of course, on social media, there are people saying terrible, terrible, terrible things about me. And even some people, we know are, saying, oh, you shouldn't react this way, or, some different things like that. But then, so in the midst of that, then so there was a young woman, maybe that's not, there was a woman on Facebook, I think, that in the midst of all of these horrible comments about me, she jumps in and says, I worked at Channel 24 when Paul worked at the local NBC affiliate, and there weren't a lot of kind people there, but Paul was not one of them. He was such a great human being. And what all of you are saying about them is wrong. And this is a good person. And I had another person that showed up in my DMs who are like, as pastor, you don't remember me, but you dedicated our baby. And she sent a video, and it was so sweet. So those have been really moments of bright light of people jumping up and saying, no, I love this person, and I love that they're pursuing their life this way.
By the way, those days when you were at KC24, those were your angry days, like a lot. Like Paul the part was, in like whatever, fronting, running the life. And Paul the part is not always pleasant to be around. But I love that person who knew you during that time, it's like your whole system was flowing and functioning, even during that time of, intense anger and having to fight your way every step of the way forward. You know what I mean? Like that, like the real you, the full you was living then too. And I think that's why this person experienced you as this kind person in the middle of this otherwise kind of junkyard dog work environment.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's why it just continues to be baffling to me that people wouldn't want to just say, I love you just
Yeah.
as you are, and even if you're changing, I still love you because in there you're that same person. You just may
Yeah.
look different and
I
act different.
have I have a question that like may take us one step back, and I know we're getting to time, but
Yeah.
on the comments and stuff like that from the TV show, have you seen any comments from people you know who like are surprisingly like negative? When you're like, "What's up, dude?" Or like, "God," or you're like, or is it like, "No, no, I've kind of seen all this before."
I haven't had anybody who we explicitly know who have said like you're going to hell. It was kind of funny. I did have one person say, wow, you were an asshole 30 years ago and you're an asshole now. And I'm like, I have no idea who you are. So I guess we knew each other 30 years ago and you marked me as an asshole and I didn't mark you at all. So which of us is better off in the relationship? And wrote a Substack about somebody we know who, came on social media and said basically like, you don't get to say how we react is wrong when, kind of the idea we were talking about last week of people saying, oh, Ashley, I'm so sorry for you. And somebody coming on and say, insisting like, Paul, you don't understand how hard this is for us. And me having to say, push back and say, wait, you also don't get to regulate how I react to your reaction. Like you don't demand that I carry your pain a little while longer in this. I've carried the pain for 50 plus years. I'm not going to carry it anymore. I bless you to do your work in the middle of this, but you don't get to tell me I'm wrong to say, no, you don't get to make me feel this way. You don't get to make me feel bad just a little while longer so you can have more processing time. No, people of color don't have to carry us anymore. It's our job to go do the work, right? And all I was saying is, no, I'm not going to carry your pain anymore. That's not my job anymore. I've done that for a long, long time. And yes, I get that you have to process and you may react poorly, but you don't get to say, don't tell me I'm reacting poorly, or that your reaction out of the best of your heart is still causing me harm. And I'm going to let you know it's causing me harm. So I
Yeah.
don't know. And so I wrote what I thought was a really good Substack about that called Let Us Process. So go check that out.
Okay. I will actually, because I had like not heard about that this week.
Are you not
So
subscribed on my Substack?
I
Like,
am, but I
my
don't go
God.
look at it. I
Well,
am, but I
if
don't
you were
look at it.
subscribed, you would get an email telling you there's a new Substack.
I don't know where those emails
So
go.
you
Whatever.
must not. Yeah.
I don't know. Too
All
many
right.
emails.
Are we going to do
Okay.
Spotify list
Let's
here?
go. Let's go to this is like a point of joy for Paul and I. So for whatever reason, when we signed up for Spotify, we have the same account. So
Yeah.
like most adults would have their own account and then you like have exactly your music and stuff. But Paul and I, so it's like wherever Paul's out on the podcast, like that's what's showing up, that's where we are in the queue. We have this liked list that we've been compiling together for probably about, I don't know, 3 or 4 years now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I just get such a kick out of when I pull up the favorites list and I see whatever song has been added by Paul and he sees whatever song I've added. It's so random and hilarious. So we thought we might share out like song added this
Oh,
week.
I think
Why?
I'm seeing a couple that you added
Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure.
this
I've
week.
added because now it's like my favorite. And then I like to see how long it takes you to notice that I've added the song and get a reaction from you. So we could go back even a couple weeks, but I'm curious of this. So I'm looking at our Spotify playlist right
Yeah,
now.
I'm looking at it too.
Okay, what's the song that you most recently added that you're most passionate about right now?
Um, so I'm not. You know me and my neurodivergent mind. When I find a song like I listen to that song a
Over
million
and
times.
over and yes.
I cannot stop listening to it. So I actually don't have one of those right at the moment.
You don't. You need one.
But my most recent was a song by a group called the Water Boys, which is The Whole of the Moon is the name of the song.
We love that song.
And you discovered it, that I had put it in the list, and we're very happy about it. But it's again, we can't play it without a copyright violation, but it's just a song about, and they say really the song was about C.S. Lewis ultimately, but it was about great thinkers who, the song says, I saw the crescent, but you saw the whole of the moon. So like I saw what I could see in front of me and you saw the bigger picture. And it's an ode to that. And it's just a beautiful song. And are you playing Nasty right now?
I didn't mean to, but yes.
So anyway, Whole of the Moon. That was the song that I just had on repeat.
Okay. Well, by the way, I'm still listening to that. Like probably.
That's a good song.
Okay, there's 3 songs that I'm obsessed with right now that when I get in the car, it's like I'm going to be listening to one of these 3 songs.
Okay.
And that's one of them. And again, it's called The Whole of the Moon. It is it's got like I don't know, like an orchestra in the back. I mean, it's a really cool. They've got strings in there and some horns, and it's just a really beautiful, inspiring song. And then on the absolute other end of the spectrum, I am obsessed with Beyonce and Post Malone's song Levi's Jeans. That
is a different turn, isn't it?
It is so on the other, but okay, I love the music of it. I think the sound of it is so fun. And when I was in the hospital back several weeks ago, I was like watching, some streaming, and this Levi's Jeans ad comes on, and it's just this like super sexy ad, and I'm like, what is that song in the background? So I looked up the song, and sure enough, it's on Cowboy Carter. It's Beyonce's and it's her Western Day, and it's Levi's Jeans. And I'm just going to tell you, it's so fun and like dripping in like male female dynamic, and like, there's just a lot of sort of I don't know, gender issues that come up of like, this woman has totally mastered this man because she's so sexual and whatever. I just thought that was pretty funny and fun. And then you just heard me play it. I'm kind of just, it's a major throwback, Nasty by Janet Jackson. So my trips around town are inspiring Whole of the Moon, C.S. Lewis, Nasty by Janet Jackson, and then Levi's Jeans. And yes, I see River Hugger saying Texas Hold'em. Okay, I'll go look that up. I downloaded Cowboy Carter, and then I listened to it a couple of times. I didn't love it, and now I'm going back to it, and I'm finding a few songs. I'm like, oh, I actually do kind of like this.
Yeah. Nasty by Janet Jackson, I never liked when it was new. So
I love it.
I'm not a big fan. Now you added West End Girls by the Pet Shop Boys, which is,
yes,
I love that song.
Chef's kiss. Yeah,
I love that song so much. And I found This Woman's Work by Kate Bush a while back. And if you've what was that movie with Kevin, what's his name? What is the 6 Degrees of Separation of Kevin Bacon? This Woman's Work was in that movie. And so that one I love. And then What's Up by the 4 Non-Blondes. I love that band just because their name is 4 Non-Blondes. But, I wake up in the morning and I step outside and I take a deep breath and I get real high and I scream the top of my lungs. What's going on?
Yeah, love it.
I can't get enough of that song. But copyright violation be damned. I've got to do this. I've got to do this before we go. Can you hear that?
Yeah. It's tinny and slight, but yes.
Huh. See, they got the fiddle going there.
You were there in the turnstiles with the wind at your heels. You searched for the stars.
Oh, I love it.
It's a great song.
Yeah.
Too soon. You
Of
saw
the whole of the moon. Oh, I love it so much.
All right, let's stop breaking the law.
Well, if we get any monetization, they'll get some of it now.
There you go.
I,
There you go.
All
All righty.
right. Well, that was a good palate cleanser at the end. So if you have a Spotify song that you love and are stuck on, send that to us through some way to reach out, and we'll love hearing your story as well.
Okay, we'll see y'all next week.
See ya. Oh, Dan McClellan next week.
Oh,
Dan
hell yeah.
McClellan joins us next week.
Let's
So
go.
do not miss. Tell all your friends.